Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into your program. This is your community service program hosted by yours truly, Victor Trevino. It's great to be back live. I apologize for the past couple of weeks having to run a tape, but this is me now. This is really me. It's today. This is not pre-recorded or another tape we're running, but thank you for your patience. You see, a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I celebrated our 42nd anniversary, so we took a little time off together, but thank you for understanding that and also celebrating with us. Thank you for all your good wishes. And the past week, we also had another community meeting that I had to be at. So here we are live, and we got a great show for you tonight. Got some great guests on a very important subject that you really want to listen to and take notes. You know, when somebody steals our identity, that's something very, very serious. It causes a lot of chaos, not just the fact that they steal our identity, but all the financial crisis it could put us through. So you'll hear from the experts themselves in just a second. But can you believe 4th of July is just around the corner? First of all, on a somber note, well, not really somber, but we want to congratulate the U.S. soccer team, for taking it all the way and giving it all they got. So congratulations to them. Unfortunately, they didn't make it today, but we do wish them well and thank them for a great show. And also to get ready for 4th of July, everybody wants a party. We want to have a good time. That's okay. And if you choose to drink, that's your choice. But one thing that's got to be just clear in everyone's mind, in our heart, if you're going to drink, you don't drive. You have a designated driver. In these past couple of weeks, we've suffered some horrible tragedies. One just recently here, 5 people dead. Another one last week, 4 people dead, caused by DWIs. And so please keep that in mind as we celebrate this beautiful birthday, the 4th of July of the United States of America. So we thank you again for tuning in and inviting us into your home. At this time, my reporter on the street is telling me we got breaking news. So let's go to breaking news at this time. I hadn't had a hamburger in a while.
Champ Burger's been a tradition. I've been eating down here since I was about 12, 13 years old. And it's funny, I'll tell people around town about how good it is, and they say, oh, we already go there. And then they come in from Gulf Freeway, they come in from Medical Center, they come in from all over to eat here.
Well, Champ Burger is, it's the heart of this neighborhood. I mean, it's been here for a while, since I was in elementary school, and that was a while back. I had my first Champ Burger when I was 8. I haven't stopped coming ever since.
This was my family's homestead back before the turn of the century, 1890. After my great-grandparents passed away, they tore the house down, and my father and my grandfather built Champ Burger. That was probably 1963 or so. And Champ Burger has served this little community for over a half of a century, seen people grow up and move off, comebacks. We've served generations of people in this neighborhood in the 2nd Ward, and seen a lot of changes going on, especially right now. Burgers, man, hamburgers, and that is what we do. We do a good chicken fried steak sandwich that we've done for over 45 years. The burgers are rocking. We do them every day, day in and day out. It's just a good, simple work-a-day burger, burgers, cheeseburger, bacon cheeseburger, and a shake, orange shake.
I've been coming to Champ Burger for over 20 years.
It's very important. They've been here forever, and I'm glad they've stuck by and been able to give us all the service they've given us. It's a really nice place to come.
It's great to have this kind of a burger stand, a burger place. It's a long-standing tradition for all the people in the hood.
Anytime I work in Pasadena, so anytime I'm on this side of town, I'll swing by and get a burger.
Classic Champ Burger with cheese, or Champ Burger, or even the lunch special.
The lunch special, and I get cheese on my hamburger.
The cheeseburger with mushrooms, plain and dry.
They also have some of the best onion rings, and the root beer is very unique. And I personally was fortunate to see them building it. I would walk to school right there at Lubbock Elementary, right on the corner of Harrisburg and Sampson. So I watched them when they were building Chamburger, and it's been a great experience. But we want to thank, you know, the family for choosing that location, for having that location. I didn't know the history of that. That was awesome. But thank you for a great service to all the community. People come from all over. And we just want to make sure we focus on, you know, the grassroots business type that the Saldino family has started there, you know, right there in the heart of Second Ward. So congratulations to you. And that's what Breaking News is on the Victor Trevino Show, talking about great people doing great things. You saw the family tradition back in the late 1800s is still carrying on, you know, the grandchildren, and I'm sure it's going to continue. So we salute you. Congratulations. Keep up the good work, and happy 50th anniversary. And now, you know, our Crime Stoppers is also very important. So let's go to our Crime of the Week.
I'm Jeff McShann. On behalf of Crime Stoppers and Constable Victor Trevino's office, we're hoping you can help us solve this crime. It's an attempted robbery that happened on March 20th, 2014, around 9 o'clock. The suspect in this sketch and a second male came up to a victim at a Metro bus stop in the 7400 block of Scott Street, which is bus route number 4. One suspect pulled out a gun and stated, "Give me all your money." The suspect then yelled for the victim to get on his knees. The victim, in fear of his life, then got into a struggle with the suspect, causing both suspects to take off. Anyone with any information about this particular crime, if you know who this person is in the sketch, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers will pay up to $5,000 for any information that leads to the arrest of this particular suspect.
If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers. You can get up to a $5,000 reward. And, you know, it's a win-win situation because whenever you call them, no one ever knows your name. No one mentions your name. It's a code. That's the only way that you communicate. And so, you know, you'll help us bring this suspect to justice. This crime happened on March the 20th, 2014, 7400 block of Scott Street, you know, right there, bus route number 40, number 4. So make sure if you have any information, you know, it's a win-win situation. You can get up to $5,000 reward, and this suspect can be brought to justice. But already we thank you for your support of Crime Stoppers. Because of your cause, you've already made our Crime Stoppers here in Houston, Harris County, the #1 Crime Stoppers in the world. So thank you very much for your support. And now to my very special guests that are here, and I'd like to introduce them. I'd like to start off with Sergeant Leona Peterson, Harris County Sheriff's Financial Crimes. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Deputy Cory Friedrich, is that correct?
Friedrich. Yes.
Friedrich, Harris County Sheriff's Burglary and Theft Unit. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we have Nicole Christoph, Crime Stoppers of Houston.
Thank you for having us.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Laura Bailey, Managing Vice President of Capital One Community Finance.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank y'all for being here. You know, we didn't start hearing about identity theft till not too long ago. How did this happen? Anybody jump in?
Well, you know, I think when we made it easier for all of us to do things, we also made it easier for criminals to take advantage of us. So one of the main things that has made this all happen so suddenly was the use of the internet. So, you know, one of the things we want to make sure viewers are aware of is policing what they do on the internet.
And you know, this crime also, I think, we used to think of it in the old days that it happened just within families, that sometimes families would use each other's name, but it's not that. So for you at home, it's very important that you understand it could be a complete stranger now. That's what we're looking at. And I know the Sheriff's Department handles a lot of this, Sergeant. Tell us a little bit about how y'all handle some of the financial crimes.
We have different types of identity theft. We have fraud, which is like fraudulent use of someone's ID. That could be your social. It could be your Texas ID. Or we have credit card abuse, and we also have the title fraud, where people take your cars and forge them. And we also have the regular identity theft, where they take and buy a car and your social and your ID. So we have different types of identity theft in our office that we deal with on a daily basis, including the IRS. We also do those type of crimes where someone steal your social and file income tax with the IRS.
And I think that's why I think what most people should do now is maybe look at their credit report once in a while, so they can look at the,
Very much.
Yes.
you know, some of the reportings
And
that's
you get
there.
a free one once a year, so there's no reason for you not to go ahead on and get that free report, because it can come up any minute.
That's a great point. And we have a new product called Credit Tracker that's completely free, where you can go on an unlimited number of times and track your credit, and also have alerts sent to you. So with identity theft, if somebody is changing your address and communicating that to your credit provider, you can get an alert so that you'll be able to nip it in the bud before it becomes a problem.
Very well. And also Crime Stoppers, I know they're involved in all aspects of crime, but
Yes.
y'all are also involved not only in identity theft, but you were also mentioned earlier about the purse snatching.
Right. Purse snatching is a very easy way for your identity to be stolen. We were very happy to partner with HPD and the Greater Houston Loss Prevention Alliance this morning on a purse theft awareness campaign where we discussed ways to protect your purse when you're going to the grocery store, walking with it on the inside rather than the outside of traffic, and not leaving it in your basket and keeping it closed and that sort of thing. Because once your purse is stolen, it's not just the bag itself, it's everything that's inside of it. All of your credit cards, your driver's license, family photos, your cell phone. It's a prime way for the criminal to have every single thing that they need to assume your identity.
And I think for you at home, again, we're giving you information both to be proactive and also the right reaction to take immediately. For example, if you are the victim of a purse snatching, immediately all the credit cards, you have to report them right away. And if your keys were involved there, you probably also have to look at changing your locks,
Right.
whether it's your vehicle keys or your home, so that you can feel better protected. Because once it's gone and you don't recover it, it's very difficult to know in whose hands they are and what their attempt may be. But I think that, you know, Crime Stoppers making this push and getting the word out there is very important. So we salute you for that.
Thank you.
And keep up the good work. And Deputy Cory, burglary and theft, that's probably one of the #1 crimes that happen in Houston, Harris County.
Yes, we are very busy with burglaries and thefts, yes.
Give us an idea of what somebody, I guess, should do if they are the victims of a burglary or a theft.
Well, first of all, you need to report it to the sheriff's office. It's a good idea to keep track of your information, keep track of your property, log your serial numbers on whatever's stolen. Just be prepared for something like that, because it happens to everybody. We're not safe from burglary and thefts. People break into cops' house just as easy as anybody else's house. But you have to make your home prepared for, you have to make it as difficult as possible for someone to break into your house. Your home is your castle. You're responsible for securing it.
And I think, again, to you at home, the idea is to understand what it means by being proactive. What can we do to make sure that we prevent being the victim, whether if it's of a burglary or a theft? You know, for example, when you go out shopping in your cars, you know, you don't want to leave merchandise that it's easily visible from the outside, because it would take not even a couple of seconds for someone to break the window, snatch and run. So you also have to think about that. What is being proactive? How can we prevent being the victim of a burglary at home? And we'll talk more about that in just a second, because that's the idea. If you can wake up in the morning and look in the mirror as we're getting dressed to go to work or to go run our errands, whatever we got to do, if you can see in the mirror where you're going during the day, and you can see you're going to be the victim of a crime, you would change it.
Right.
You would do it differently. We want you to think that way before you leave the house. Think about it, not because we want you to be paranoid. I don't want you to be paranoid. You know, I don't want you to, you know, think in terms of, oh, you got to be suspicious of everybody. Just being aware, walking around with confidence, you know, knowing that you're going to have a good day. It's going to be a great day, and you're not going to be the victim of a crime because that's your state of mind. But it's good to talk about it, and that's why the experts that you have today, let me introduce them again, from the Harris County Sheriff Department Financial Crimes, Sergeant Leona Peterson, and we thank you for being here, and also from the Harris County Sheriff's Burglary and Theft Division, Deputy Cory, Friedrich. Okay. And we also have Nicole Christoph from Crime Stoppers.
Yes, sir.
And we have Laura Bailey, Managing Vice President of Capital Finance, Capital One Community Finance.
Exactly.
Thank you. And talking about Capital One, they make a lot of great commercials.
That's a lot of fun for us.
Yeah.
And people remember them. And the tagline, of course, is "What's in your wallet?"
I wanted to say that.
It brings up a tip, though, about identity theft, and that is you can thin out your wallet, right? This is one of my favorite things. Over time, we put more and more personal stuff in our wallet or our purse. Consider just starting over and just carrying a few credit cards, your ID, and some cash. You might not need everything that's in there, and if you were to lose or have it stolen, you won't have as many things to replace.
Exactly.
I have
Sure,
to
go
say
ahead,
something
Sergeant.
too on when you have your wallet. Go ahead and make a copy of everything in there because when the deputies make the scene, we get reports over and over and over where we don't have the credit card number, we don't have the checking account number, we don't have this, and it's hard for us to start an investigation without that number because we have to contact the merchants, we have to let them know the number so they can search their files for the video, and we have to have date and time, so that'll save the victim some time by saying, oh, I had my kid's social, because they don't have to call the police again and say, I forgot my husband's social was in there. Make a copy of everything in your wallet. That way you'll have it. Even in your house, record. Go around your house and record. Every serial number, everything, because if they find that one thing and we get a hit on it, you may get most or all, some of your stuff back.
Nobody thinks about being a victim of a crime until
it
they are a
happens,
victim
and
of a
then
crime, and
it's
then
like
it's too late.
it's up in the uproar. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do.
And I think that's why, and I know we got a caller on hold, and I'll be right with you, but that's why it's important for us to have this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, just to think about it. So if you already record all your valuables, you got the serials documented, so not because you're planning to be the victim, I mean, you're planning not to be the victim. That's what you're planning.
You
You're
want your
planning
stuff
not
back.
to be the victim. But it's good to have, those kind of records handy in case you have to provide them. But let's go ahead and get to the caller. Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
This is Linda.
Hey, Linda, how you doing?
Okay.
So what do
I
you?
was just,
Go ahead.
were you going to say, Victor?
No, go ahead.
I was saying that's a good idea that, about the safety, and that's a good thing when you leave the house, make sure you look around your surroundings and everything, and that's, that's what I do when I leave, my house.
And also when you leave your home, to make sure you leave it well secured.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I usually do check, all my doors and stuff, and make sure, everything is, locked and everything.
Well, good for you. Thank you for calling, Linda.
Okay.
You have a happy 4th of July.
You too.
All right, take care. Good night.
Another thing I want to bring up is
Sure.
to add on to what she was saying. Know your neighbors.
Right.
Your neighbors are your best friends.
Best weapon.
When we, being on patrol, when we would catch burglars, it was because the neighbor called in. The neighbor knew that whoever was walking in your front yard or knocking on your front door did not belong there.
Right.
So they would call us and we would come to save the day.
I was thinking about that when you were talking about being in this community for as long as Champburger has been here. And I think that's something too, is that feeling of community really does protect us, and having the connections with the people around us.
And unfortunately, though, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, sometimes the persons that are breaking into our home live in the neighborhood. That is an unfortunate statistic. It's not someone coming in from the other side of town that just happened to come into our neighborhood. It does happen, but that's why it is important to know your neighbors, to get to know them, to give them that confidence look, and knowing that you are being proactive all the time. It's very important. But I don't know if I was off on that one. Do y'all also have the same statistics? That most of the time, some of the burglars live close by?
It happens a lot like that, yes.
Yes. Or in our case, with identity theft, with the seniors, we have a lot of the healthcare providers, because those people do jobs that some people don't care to do, and that's the only job they can get. So you really need to know your providers. You need to know, you know, who they work for, and if something comes up missing, report it, because that provider may have gotten other calls. So to get your information, and then it's, you know, all of a sudden you become a victim, start looking for the people that are in your house. In burglary, you know, you may not notice today that something's missing, but later on, it's like, okay, who was in my house? Because sometimes you think that somebody just broke in, but it could be, you have to watch who's in your house also.
That's one of our tips when we're talking about protecting your home, and especially with the vacation season upon us, is don't be afraid to be a nosy neighbor. It could potentially save your neighbors from having a loss in their home, but it also redevelops that sense of community that we've lost over time. But you don't want to be that guy on the news that said, yeah, I saw that weird van down the street, but I didn't report it, and now my neighbor's been robbed.
And also, when Facebook, don't tell everybody you're going to Hawaii.
That's
everybody in the world
post that
knows
stuff
now
when you
that
get
you're going to Hawaii for 7 days. I got 7 days just to stay in your house.
Exactly.
Well, if you are going to tell them, make sure you have a security system in place. Someone's going to be there. So that you're right, absolutely correct, because many crimes have occurred because of information on Facebook. I wanted to mention to you at home a little bit about Crime Stoppers, because like I know about Champ Burger, I know a little bit about Crime Stoppers also, and how it began, you know, many years ago when I was a patrol officer in the Community Relations Division. And Crime Stoppers, I believe, well, I don't know if it started there, but we had some representatives from Atlanta that came to Houston, and it started back in the late 70s.
Right.
And Crime Stoppers has grown here in Houston, Harris County, to a level that is uncomparable to any, because of the great, I guess, support, the great employees that are part of it.
With our partnerships with law enforcement here in the area. We partner with the Harris County Sheriff's Office, with HPD, Metro PD, and Pasadena Police Department. We have wonderful media partners. We are very, very fortunate here in Houston.
And of course, you know, all the folks that, you know, that call also, that take the call. And I know it's a win-win, because, like I said, you get a reward, but at the same time, it's an investment that's keeping our community safer, and also making sure that crimes are solved, that we need your help. We got a caller? Okay, let's get to the caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Victor. This is Joseph Tiarina.
Joseph, it's good to hear from you. I'm sorry I missed you a couple of weeks now, and I thank you for
also.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I need to let the viewers know that I'm taking off. I apologize for that. Joseph, were you disappointed in the game today?
Yes,
of course.
No.
Well, go ahead, Joseph.
I've been following identity theft with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. And if you go to USA.gov, you can click on the FTC and receive it as an email. Well, one of the two things I want to bring up is the FTC is looking at scammers. When you rent a motel from a city that you're visiting, the scam is they'll call in late at night and say that they're at the front desk and they have problems with your credit card number, and you repeat the credit card number and the expiration date, and that is not the front desk calling you. That is a scammer calling you to get your credit card number. And the end of the story is you've just been scammed by your identity taken from somebody you don't even know. The second one is pizza. Well, when you travel, you don't get to cook your food. You get to sleep in the room, but you don't get to cook your food in the room. So what they'll do is they'll slip under a pizza deal or some kind of a deal. It's fake. But when you make the call to get a pizza, you give them the credit card number so they can deliver the pizza. You have just been had once again. Wow. And the final story I want to give you is the FTC has a company in the Northeast has been collecting school identity, and parents don't even know that that it's being collected by a third party. Well, the third party that's collecting all this information filed for bankruptcy, and so they wanted to leverage all the information they got from several different elementaries, middle schools, and high schools, and the judge says, no, you can't do that. and so now they don't have anything to leverage to pay back their debtors. And here again, sometimes we don't even know we're being information is being collected, and that's what I wanted to leave your panel with is for discussion.
Well, thank you, Joseph. Like always, you add a lot to our show. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I have a
All right, take care.
website for a
Have a good evening.
government website.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a website for a government website. It's called www.ic3.gov, and these mystery shoppers and stay at home, work from home, those scams, the government monitors the targets, and if they get so many, then they'll start investigating that person. So
Well, I did want to thank Joseph again, Theodina, for calling in and giving us your input, and I appreciate that. That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen, for you at home to become involved, get all the information you can. Yes, you're hearing from the expert tonight, but we expect you to also be involved, to be a hands-on type of person. And, don't hesitate to question someone. I always tell folks, and even when I get calls at home and they want to negotiate on the phone, some business, and I don't know who I'm talking to, so I just simply politely say, I don't do any business on the phone. Thank you. I don't negotiate on the phone. They get upset, but don't worry about it. Just stay calm and politely say, thank you, have a good evening, and hang up. But the phone is a very quick method for someone to get information that they don't need to have. So please be cautious of that. But Joseph, thank you again for always sharing some great information. And to you at home, listening to the experts here tonight, it's very important for you to pass this on. That's the idea here. Whether you pass it on to your immediate family, your neighbors, when you're at a coffee, just drinking with your friends, you go to a social, not to take over the whole conversation, but just have your input there. That's the way we continue to progress and improve the quality of life. Because when our identity is taken, and you can't buy a house, you can't buy a car, you can't get any more credit because they've ruined your credit. It's very complicated and difficult. So,
can I say something about that?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, when he said the hotel, you have to be careful too, because I've just had a case where an employee was calling rooms at midnight saying that they needed more information on the card and the address, but that employee was actually buying stuff online while he was on duty at the hotel. So if someone calls your hotel room wanting more information, I would get up and go down there and get their name and tell them you'll talk to the manager the next day. And that also happens a lot with these third-party companies like gym memberships. You have to give your credit card number to these people, which is crazy, and they ask for more information than they need. You need to alert that company that you're paying, to go to and say, hey, I feel a little uncomfortable. That person asked for my private security number on the back, which they're never supposed to do. So if anybody asks you for more information than you feel comfortable with, because your gut feeling will say, why do you need that?
Absolutely.
Then that's when you say, well, let me get with your manager, because I don't think you should have that. Even a doctor's office, I don't want to give my social to somebody sitting behind a desk.
And something that's similar to that is when you use a public internet forum, you're providing information as though to a stranger.
People can piggyback
you. You be really careful about shopping or doing online banking in a non-protected internet environment.
So I'm sit next to him and jump on his internet and get everything I need from his account. And then I'll go and do what I need to do.
And not to knock modern technology. It's awesome, it's great, but I know that my family still makes fun of me because I still mail everything. I go buy the stamps, and I send the check, and I go to the post office.
I'm worse than you. I walk in and pay my bill.
Dad, all you got to do is pay it online. Yeah, I'm old school,
trust
and I'm
that
not
either.
knocking it. I think as you mentioned, that the fact that you have to be secured.
Yeah, you have to be careful. You're on a secured internet. Another thing to do is look at your account activity frequently. Just as you said, when you're in a public place, you're looking around to see who's around you. Same thing. You're looking at your statements regularly to make sure.
You know what? Purse snatching. When you're walking down the sidewalk and someone's walking towards you, and they're smiling at you, if the person is a suspect because they're going to snatch your purse, they already know that. You don't. You see a friendly face, and what you have to understand is that smile doesn't, it's not mistaking for you being weak. That's something very important that you have to keep in mind. So when they say good morning to you, you say good morning back. Don't hesitate. Just move your head and keep looking at them as you smile. Because what they do when they pass by you, they're going to do a quick turn and take your purse and run the opposite direction. But when you turn around and smile at them, that's it. You've interrupted their thought process of taking your purse. So that's important to keep that in mind. And I know that we're asking for your input too, but we want you just to take notes. Because, you know, I think our biggest resource in finding the good solutions here. As I started the show, I talked about the problems we have with DWI. It's very difficult. We can make all these laws, create new laws, make it more difficult for an individual to get punished, but we're still seeing a lot more tragedies. So we really need to reevaluate as a society what we need to do there. The same thing with identity theft or even thefts from a vehicle or someone breaking into your house. I know y'all seen things on patrol as you're talking about. I think another thing to look at, what would you say to someone in terms of, you know, if they don't have enough lights, they don't have any bushes that are covering their front door, things that...
Again, it's your responsibility to make that house as uninviting to a burglar as possible. Trim those bushes that are, you know, 3 times taller than the window that give a burglar, you know, concealment when he's trying to get into your house. Put motion sensing lights on. The technology is amazing today. Motion sensing lighting is cheap. You can get it at any hardware store. Lock your doors. That's very simple to do. Lock your windows, but people forget to do them. They'll open the window in the summer and close it and forget to lock it, and that's just a perfect opportunity for a burglar to come in. It's very simple to make your home uninviting to a burglar.
Exactly. And again, if you're going to be working on your yard, well, besides looking out for the hot sun, make sure you stay cool, stay hydrated. But the other thing is the suspects is looking at that. If they see you working on the backyard and they realize no one's inside the house, they'll have a lookout watching you in the backyard, working on your yard as they break into the front and take whatever they want to take and leave to the front, and you never know what hit you. So please make sure that that front door is properly secure, or once in a while, check on it. But one thing for sure, if you feel you're the victim of a burglary and your door is broke into, what you want to do immediately is to call the police. You don't want to go in there right away until you know that it is safe for you to go in there. But I know that, Laura, you're going to have to be leaving a little bit, right?
Yes.
But I want to make sure you have some final comments before you leave.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Break.
Yeah. I just want to remind people about 2 things. ATM security, right? So we all know to look around. Simple tip is to just obscure the hand that you're using to enter your PIN number. A lot of people know that, but just try to remember, just in case there's anybody in the area or there's a camera that's been placed there. So it's an easy thing to do, and I don't think anybody needs to feel self-conscious about using 2 hands at an ATM. The other thing that I wanted to mention is back on monitoring your credit. If you get your statement and you're busy and you don't feel you have got time to really see if all those charges were yours, we have a program called Second Look where we'll be a second set of eyes for you. We'll go through your statement and make sure there aren't duplicate charges or you're looking at things that might be some sort of a scam. So just to mention that as another free service that we would provide.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
A pleasure.
Thank you. And we'll be right back. Right now, we're going to go to some birthday celebrations. These people that know how to party hardy. We'll be right back.
Sunday morning, yeah. Everybody wants me to be what they want me to be. My name is Friedrich Jr. Today my birthday. I'm at JWPV, and I come mostly all the time here. But, you know, sometimes I have to go to the doctor, you know, take care of them old bones, you know. But, you know, yet and still, you know, if someone want to join JWPV, you welcome to come in. We play dominoes, shoot pool, and everything else. Laugh and talk to the seniors. And that's it. I'm 68 years old.
My name is Anthony Lewis, and I'm here at JWPV. I'm 58 years old, May the 24th. And I'm thankful to be here. I do dominoes, I do chess, I have checkers, we have all kind of dances here. I enjoy being here. And hope you all come on out and join us because we have a brand new domino room that consists of all kind of games, table games and everything. We have a sewing room. We also have the network, which is computer room, for everyone to come out and enjoy yourself and have a nice time. It's JWPV, right here off Market Street. Love you.
I'm Etoile Anderson, and this is JWPV is the place to be. The camaraderie is so beautiful. It takes away, a lot of times we elderly people, we stay at home day in and day out, and it puts you in a depressed state. And when you come out into something like this and talk to people and be around people, it just gives you a lot of energy at the end of the day. And I'm just so appreciative for this. I am. It does wonders for us. So come down and join us and enjoy yourself. You'll be glad you did.
Well, congratulations to all those youngsters there at JWPV, right there in the heart of 5th Ward. I want to congratulate them for their birthday celebration. And thank you for inviting us out there. And as I always mention to you how special birthdays are, because it gives us the opportunity to reflect on the beautiful memories that we've made in the past, but it also gives us the opportunity to plan the beautiful memories we're about to make. So, and as that young lady said, it's important when those of us that are getting up there in age, for us not to just remain at home, become idle. We have to stay active, be social, and places like JWPV offer that opportunity. So I salute you, keep up the good work. And now we're going to some other birthday celebrations at Immaculate Conception.
All right. Ahí vamos, se vuelve el aplauso para María Chávez. Happy birthday.
Oh, pues muy contenta, festejando aquí con todas mis compañeras de los seniors y pues que Dios nos siga concediendo muchos años más.
Very happy to be here today with my friends and fellow senior citizens. I wish that everybody would be as happy as I am.
Me llamo Maria Chavez. I want to wish everyone today that's here that planned this party for me. And I give thanks to God that I'm here and that He let me see another birthday.
No más quiero decir muchas gracias a Dios por haberme concedido otro año de vida y muchas gracias a todos los seniors por todo el amor que sienten por mí, porque siente uno por el otro y muchas gracias a todos.
congratulations to all those youngsters at Immaculate Conception. Again, thank you for inviting us to your beautiful celebration. Keep up the good work there. And you saw the spirit there. We enjoy going out there. So thank you for giving us the privilege of being there to celebrate your birthdays. Keep up the good work. And we're back to our special guest. Laura Bailey had to leave, but we have Nicole Christoph with Crime Stoppers.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And we also have Sergeant Leona Peterson with the Harris County Sheriff Financial Crimes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Deputy Cory Friedrich with the Sheriff's Burglary and Theft Division.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And to you, again, we thank you. We're talking about identity theft or also being victimized as far as a burglary is concerned or any kind of theft. So we want to give you some information to be proactive, what steps you can take to be preventive. But you were telling me during the birthday celebrations you had a test for me.
I do. I have a little quiz for you.
Sure.
It can be a true or false, and it can be for the viewers at home as well, to something to think about and keep in mind. So when you get your Capital One monthly credit card statement, do you look at it closely to review all of the charges on the account before you pay the bill?
Yes.
Very good. That's the number one thing, is to make sure that all those charges are legitimate and that there aren't any strange ones. We often overlook small charges if they're under $10, and that's often a tool that the con artists use. They put a charge on your account that's less than $10. You're not going to see it. They know that you're not paying attention, and then they go on forward with it.
And I also like to see how much I have left on my limit.
Yeah, so sometimes I'm afraid of that.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Close. Okay, so when you get mail saying that you've been pre-approved for a credit card, do you tear that up before you throw it away or shred it?
We shred it.
Very good. And the most important thing when you're shredding it is to use one of those cross shredders. A lot of the old school shredders would give you like a 1/4 of an inch piece of paper that if somebody's going to go dumpster diving to get your information, they'll glue that back together if they can. So if you use a confetti one, that's definitely a way to keep it safe. If you notice the volume of your mail has decreased, would you think about calling the post office to see if somebody had changed your address?
Yes.
That is one thing that is also very common, is they will put in a change of address for you, and then all of a sudden your bills are not coming. And that's how they've already created an account in your name, and then you're not seeing the bills and you don't know it's happening.
Did I pass?
Yes, you did. You did very good. We're very proud of you.
And I think it's important for you at home to understand, even though I like to use a sense of humor, but only because I think it's good for us to always have that, always keep a good sense of humor. But it is a very serious subject, and I want us to understand the importance of the questions that were being asked. Please pay attention. You get your bill, pay attention. Look at the charges. And those mails that say you've been pre-approved, understand why it's important. If you're going to tear it, you got to tear it in a lot of little pieces, but someone can put it together. You throw it in your regular trash, people go through your trash. So it is very important, all the questions that were asked, and I want you to understand how important they are. So do we have a caller? Or if not, okay. But if you do have some input or something, let us know, ladies and gentlemen. Now we do? Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll go to the caller now. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Constable. I was wondering, I wanted to ask the sergeant a question, but if she could say anything about those gas stations, things that steal your credit card information, anything you can watch out for.
Okay, good question. Thank you. We'll answer over the air. Okay. Thank you.
The gas station, they use sometime a modem about this big, Bluetooth. So the guy can be sitting 50 feet away and copying credit card numbers and immediately sending them to Russia or anywhere. So I found one that big once on a 290 gas station. So those are very, very popular, the skimming devices that they put on these gas pumps. And a lot of times people like to come in real quick and get the end pumps. But those are the easy pumps for the guys to put their devices on. The best pumps to use are the ones that are closer to the cashier, and that way that cashier can pretty much keep an eye on those pumps. But if you ever notice someone, you know, doing a little bit more around a pump than necessary, you might want to report that, because sometimes they have a skimmer and they find an opportunity. They'll get someone to kind of, you know, obstruct the view, and they'll go in and they'll get those keys. I can't say where they get them because I don't want everybody to go get a key, but they get those keys and they, you know, they get into them. Now I saw one station where they have seals to keep people from going in, because it got, you know, to be too regular that people were getting scammed at these service stations. And if you put your card in one and it doesn't quite go in, then I would definitely report that to either Shell or Exxon or someone, because they do have people monitoring these pumps on a regular basis. So.
And again, I just think it's important for you that anytime you use your credit card, that you do look at the bills immediately when they come in. I think that's very critical, because you know you use it, try to remember where you use it. You know, keep some notes of them, keep a tracking system, because sometimes we use it very loosely, not thinking anything, and then later on if something does happen, we can't remember. We don't remember where we used it at, and it would really help us just to keep, and we're not talking about becoming paranoid. We're just talking about documenting the process that's important if we are being victimized, to give information. Like earlier when they were talking about, the Sheriff's Department was talking about documenting your serial numbers. It's very important, because if they do find your merchandise at a pawn shop, they may not be able to return it for you if you can't prove that it's yours.
Prove it's yours.
You've got to be able to prove that it's yours. They can't return something that you can't justify that it's yours. So that's real important, to keep the document that you have, so that if you are victimized, hopefully you're not, because you're planning not to be a victim. But if you are, yes.
One point, if you use your debit card, you really need to make sure you know where you use that card, because that's your money.
Right.
The credit card companies tend to be a little, you know, accommodating. But when it's debit, the banks are going to review that. They're going to deny. They will deny a claim if they feel like it's not, you know, on the guidelines, especially if you use your PIN number. So if you use your debit card, always remember that's your money. With a credit card, they'll pretty much let you get away with a, you know, a charge that may not be yours. But a debit, you're going to be scrutinized a whole lot more. So if you use your debit card at McDonald's and Jack in the Box, all these different, you don't know who's skimming your number. So you got to be careful on your debit.
Keep that in mind. Thank you. Do we have a caller? All right, we'll go to the caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please. You're on the air. Go ahead, please. We're having a bad connection. We'll come back to you. All right? Thank you. We're having a little technical difficulty. That happens sometimes. And again, I wanted to talk about also the pawn shop and how important that is for you to know, ladies and gentlemen, about these serial numbers. So if someone is reporting a burglary, they get a case number, and how can they check on to see if there's any progress or any information on their case?
Well, they can call the Burglary and Theft office and find out who the investigator is assigned to the case, and get in touch with that investigator, and they'd be more than happy to tell them what progress is going on with that case and what information we have. Because ultimately, when you report, when your house gets broken into and you're reported to us, we are here to help you. We are here to help you get your property back. We're here to help find out who is responsible for this and make them accountable for it. So just feel free to call us anytime. We're here to help.
And also, be your own investigator. Get on eBay, get online, and if you find that item, definitely call it investigator. They can put a hold on it. They can contact the seller. You know, we've gotten people all the way in other states that have put stuff online by having it shipped somewhere else. So be your own investigator. Everything's pretty much going online now. So don't be afraid to get online and look for that stuff.
Yeah, and some people have even gone to pawn shops, but unfortunately, the pawn shop doesn't have to give you any information. They only give it to law enforcement, but sometimes people see their items out there and want to report it. But I think the best bet is to work with your local law enforcement or your local sheriff or the municipal police or your local constable, whoever's working your case. Make sure, I think as Deputy Cory mentioned, find out who the investigator is. You got a case number, and work that aspect of it to make sure. So the other thing that's important is if you're a victim of a burglary, do not touch anything and let the local sheriff or your local police officers evaluate the scene first.
Can I say something about that? A lady called me the other day. Her car was broken into, her wallet, everything was stolen. The guys were on it. The deputies got AFAs, got the fingerprints done. We got a hit. I called and asked her, do you know this person? She said, oh, that's my friend. They went to the scene and started showing me different stuff, and the deputies picked up her print. And I said, this is the reason we don't touch when we have a scene, because now your friend.
Keep it against yourself.
Yes.
And that's why it's important for you at home to make sure you understand how important it is. I know you want to look around for what did they take, and but the best thing, just preserve the scene, and wait till your local police gets there, and then they can make the assessment. We have a caller? Okay, we'll go to the caller. You're on the air? Go ahead, please.
Trevino, you're my #1 fan.
Thank you. How you doing? Well, they said they're #1 fan.
He's your #1 fan.
Y'all didn't even let him finish. Thank you very much for your call. I appreciate it. But I think the important thing here is, folks, how we can be proactive, what we can do to be preventive as far as being the victim of a crime, and have these conversations with our loved ones, with our neighbors, with our friends. That's why we continue. I mean, Houston and Harris County is growing a lot, but I want to make sure that our growth is in a positive direction, and we can't do it without your help, without your support in terms of making sure that that happens. Earlier, Sheriff's Department talking about know your neighbors. That's very critical. Know your neighbors, get to know them, help each other out. When you're on vacation, we talked about that. Tell your local police department they have a watch program, that you're going to be on vacation so that they can watch your premise. Or maybe if you have a relative that can stay there, of course, that'd be the best bet. But make sure your home is secure. If you have an alarm system, make sure the alarm system has a process on who to contact if you're not going to be around, because that's also very important. You don't want time to lapse when the alarm goes off as to who they call, because your police should be the first one notified instead of wasting time and the suspects could get away. So keep that in mind. But I wanted to get back to Crime Stoppers, and I wanted to talk about, y'all have come up with a lot of great programs. The one about the schools.
Yes, our Safe School program.
Yeah, you have all kinds. Tell us a little bit more about all of them.
Well, one of the things that Crime Stoppers, our mission is to solve and prevent crime. It's not just the solving side, although that is a very large component, but prevention is just as important, as we've been talking about this evening. Our Safe School program goes out into local schools here in Harris County, throughout the county, and we talk to students, starting that conversation of developing the relationship with Crime Stoppers and how important it is for students to be able to call in things that they see or hear of that are going on their campus. Students are the eyes and ears of many campuses, and they'll know most likely before anyone else something's going on. So we make the tip line, the 713-222-TIPS, available for students to report criminal activity on school campuses as well.
And y'all took it to another level. I know we had a lot of thefts when it comes to the copper thefts. You also got real involved with some of the copper thefts and making sure people called. So y'all are very creative, and I just want to make sure we give you the recognition and the thank you and the kudos you deserve. Because with the combination of law enforcement and Crime Stoppers and you at home, this is, again, my favorite phrase, it's a win-win situation. So we continue to win, but we continue to need your input in making sure that you take the time to call Crime Stoppers. You know what you're calling about. You know how important it is for us in making our community, a safer place, but making sure that someone is going to have their day in court for whatever crime, that they're accused of. So that's real important for us.
Another thing that you mentioned earlier when you were doing the initial Crime Stoppers segment is that it's all anonymous and you're given a code. We never ask for your name. We do not have caller ID. We don't have any method of tracking tips that come in through the mobile app, through the text, or through email, nor do we want to know anyone's status here either. We just want the information that could possibly solve the crime. That's all we want, and that's it.
And that's the important part. The important part is giving that information, you know, to making sure that that crime is solved, and law enforcement and the district attorney's office will do the rest. You know, the sheriff department also, you know, I mean, Harris County, the sheriff department has grown a lot. I mean, now our sheriff department, I think y'all even have helicopters, and I want to congratulate you for that, because that's another great step in making sure that, you know, it's proactive, but also being able to support the deputies on the street.
It's another tool to have. It helps
Very
us catch criminals.
Yeah, and also it's proactive, because, you know, when you see the helicopter up there, the individuals down here, if they're planning something that is illegal, they see the helicopter, that's a deterrent.
Yeah.
Just like the
Especially
patrol
when
officer
they think
is.
they're getting away.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know we're already wrapping it up, ladies and gentlemen, so I want to have some final comments from my special guest, Sergeant Leona Peterson with the Sheriff Financial Crimes Unit.
Yes, sir.
Some final comments?
I wanted to make sure that the public knows to report any suspicious activity on their accounts or with their checking accounts, and always make sure you give the officer enough information to start on that case, because they'll call us and go, what's going on with my case? And well, we have 50, 60 cases we get in at one time, so your case is going to be pushed to the side more than the one that we have a named suspect, we have account information, we have video. We're going to get that video to her as soon as we can to try to get that person identified, and thanks to her, we have had some good results from using Crime Stoppers.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Deputy Cory, Friedrich?
I would just like to say to the viewers that think about being a victim of a crime before you are a victim of a crime. Take the steps, take whatever step you can to protect yourself from being a victim. It's simple stuff. Be aware of your surroundings, lock your doors, make it difficult for the criminal.
Thank you. Well said. Nicole Christoph, final comments?
I just thank you for having us, and keep using that tip line, 713-222-TIPS. If you are the victim of identity theft, be sure to report it to the police department as well, so that you can get that police report, which is very helpful in getting your money back and your identity back.
Well, thank y'all very much, and thank you at home again. We're talking about being proactive, crime prevention, but also this 4th of July. Have a great 4th of July and a happy birthday to the United States of America.